amigos, soy Ricardo Torres, director comercial en CNC Consulting Construction Group y líder de las divisiones AS Software enfocada a la comercialización de soluciones digitales y AS Institute dirigida a la formación técnica para la industria de la arquitectura, ingeniería y construcción. Nuevamente les doy la bienvenida a esta iniciativa llamada Jueves de Tecnología e Innovación para la Construcción, donde semana a semana te traemos las tendencias de los procesos de trabajo, metodologías y tecnología aplicada para la construcción. El día de hoy este evento está patrocinado por AEC Technology, una división de CNC enfocada a la digitalización de la realidad mediante los servicios de escaneo láser 3D, nube de puntos, realidad mixta y realidad aumentada. Y bueno, nuestro invitado del día de hoy es Deuschl de Trimble Inc., quien ahora viene a presentarnos cuál es el flujo de trabajo del escaneo láser 3D con la nube de puntos para llegar a un modelo BIM y presentarnos cuáles son los beneficios de tener este tipo de soluciones en procesos de trabajo dentro de proyectos de edificación y de entorno construido. Importante mencionar que esta presentación será completamente en inglés, por lo cual, bueno, una vez terminado este webinar en vivo, haremos la subtitulación para que podamos presentarles ya la propuesta con un mensaje claro y que, bueno, no, el idioma no sea una barrera. Así que ahora voy a proceder a presentar a Kyle, saludarle y para que nos haga su presentación. Kyle, hey, how are you doing? Thank you very much for joining us and taking the time to be with us today. So without further ado, you can start with the presentation and good luck.
All right, hello and welcome everyone. We'll go ahead and get started here. This is the intro to 3D capture presentation. And to start things off, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick introduction. So my name is Kyle Deuschl. I'm a product manager for the Field Technology Group in the Westminster, Colorado office. You may recognize me from the photo on the right. I was part of that XR10 photo shoot, so you may see my face around a few different places. I'm in a couple of videos as well, so definitely been involved here at Trimble. I've only been at Trimble now a little less than a year. I came from the Trimble Technology Lab EDU outreach program. They came to my alma mater, Colorado State University, where I was studying construction management and had the first Trimble Field Technology Lab. So I was able to take that and fell in love with Trimble and knew that after I had gone and worked in the field for a little while that this was a place where I wanted to end up. And so here I am today. So I've added my email down below here. Feel free to email me outside of this presentation if you guys have any more questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. So to start things off, I'm just going to do a brief overview of our group, the Field Technology Group. So we are made up of multiple portfolios from Trimble. So we have our field layout solutions, which include our robotic total stations, our RPTs, and our GNSS receivers. We have the 3D capture, which is my division, along with David Bersrick, who's our segment manager's division. And that involves our X7, our TX6 and TX8 scanners, and a few other of our software solutions. And then mixed reality, which has sight vision and the XR10 with HoloLens 2. So we recently have transitioned from the Trimble Buildings group to the Trimble Building Construction Field Systems group. And if you ask anyone inside of our group sort of what our motto is or what we're all about, they may refer you to the 3 C's, which in this case is constructible, connected, and content enabled. So everything that we do from our standpoint needs to revolve around these 3 C's. So we're not doing our jobs if it's not constructible, connected, or content enabled. So 3D capture solutions, let's just get right into it. So our newest 3D capture solution, I'm sure a lot of you have seen a lot of press and release about this, is the new Trimble X7. So what we're going with for the X7 is simple, smart, and professional. Those are the 3 words that would describe this instrument. So simple, because we have our Trimble fielding software that we are able to bring out in the field with us. It's super easy to use and to train on, and it's something that our customers are familiar with if they've ever used our robotic total stations or layout solutions. So we've just added on that scan module into already a familiar software. Smart because of all the built-in capabilities that it has, whether that's auto registration, self-leveling, self-calibration, A lot of really smart technology went into this, making it simple for people to use and professional because it still gives you that great accuracy, still gives you millions of points, and still gives you the professional result that you expect out of a Trimble product. So I'll briefly go over the TX6 and the TX8. Those were our two previous scanners that we've had now for a few years, the TX6 being the sort of lower price range and the lower range instrument. So the range on the TX6 is up to 120 meters. It collects just the same amount of points as the TX8, but the TX8 actually can go up to 340 meters. So just a few different variances in between the instruments. The TX8 is also a little bit faster, but otherwise very similar. But compared to the X7 scanner, these two instruments have longer ranges, but they don't come with those features such as using Trimble Field Link in the field and the ability to self-level and self-calibrate. So a few trade-offs there. So what makes Trimble technology so great as far as our 3D scanner hardware? So a lot of our competition, a lot of the other cheaper scanners, like photogrammetry scanners, Matterport scanners, that sort of thing, as well as other 3D laser scanners, is that our deviation from compared to our range is what gets us that precision, that accuracy that our customers expect from a Trimble instrument, and what really sets us apart. So as you can see on this chart, even at 120 meters, our standard deviation of our error is minimal, 2 millimeters or under 2 millimeters. So compared to our competition and what other scanners are able to do, it's really impressive. So now we'll get into the software side of our 3D capture portfolio, which is going to be Trimble Field Link. So again, a lot of our customers are familiar with Trimble Field Link because they have a robotic total station. Now we have added on this scan module inside of that same application. So our customers are familiar with the interface, they're familiar with how the buttons interact and the user interfaces. So it's really easy to catch on and to train. So Trimble Field Link has construction-focused workflows, and we took that directly from our customers' feedback. So they, since we're the buildings division, expect us to have these construction-focused workflows that make it easier for them to work in the field on the tablet without having to come back into the office. So with the X7 and the scan module, you get in-field registration, meaning as you start scanning, there's no longer the need to go into the office and then register those scans together. So what happens is your scanner's out there, it starts to scan, it says I've created one station scan. You'll then pick up the scanner, move it to your next destination, put it down, press start on the next scan, and traditionally what would happen is it would say, okay, here's station 2, but I have no idea where I am in relation to station 1. Now with our in-field registration, it's able to say, oh, hey, I see station 1's over there, I'm station 2, I'll link us together, and now I'm tied to that station, and that makes the ability for us to align the scans is much higher, and we have higher accuracy. And it takes away that time in the office trying to remember, did 3 go to 4? Did 4 go to 7? I don't quite remember. Instead, now we've taken away the guesswork. Now it's all done in field. And same with in-field georeferencing. So when you're referencing to your model, because you are able to import a model into Trimble Field Link, once you have that 3D model, you can select on points given in the model, and you're able to georeference back to your model with your point clouds. So that way they're placed directly over your model. So there's, again, no having to drag around the point clouds and hopefully aligning it to your model. It's all dead accurate. And again, this is all part of our Scan to BIM initiative. So if you've never even heard of 3D capture or 3D laser scanning before, it can be pretty intimidating. And definitely if we've been talking about this a few years ago, it's even more intimidating because it takes several days to learn how to use a 3D laser scanner. And now with the X7 and with the Trimble Field Link, it can be so simple, and we've simplified it down to literally being able to train this in less than a day, being able to go outside, turn on the X7, hook it up to Trimble Field Link on your tablet, press the button and go. There's no more, bringing it back to the office, having to reference everything back in, refine it yourself, and hopefully, the registration works, and none of that. That's all been taken care of. So it's all of our goal here to make it easier for people to use our 3D scanning solutions and take them into their BIM software much faster. So what's unique about Trimble Field Link is we're able to give you station views. So where you're able to see what the scanner sees, and you're able to change that color variation as you can see on the screen. So whether that's grayscale or color, what you can see your unmeasured points as well as the intensity. We also give you the ability to do calculations in the field. So after you've scanned, you can then hit our calculation tool and you can lock it on the X, Y, or the Z axis, and you're able to do measurements. So the days of a tape measure are gone. So the X7 has built-in cameras into it, which allow you to take panorama photos. So that can be important for job site documentation, for understanding where those stations are when you go back in the office and you're sharing it with your team. So you have two options. You can create a standard versus high quality panorama, and you can kind of see the differences here. Just that the standard still allows you that full resolution to zoom in on things on the wall. Maybe something's written there. Maybe there's something you want to look at specifically, maybe a label on a piece of pipe or something. You can keep that high quality photo versus the HD panorama creates a smoother looking panorama shot. So once you've imported your data, we support all types of file formats, TZF file format or E57s, recap files, LAS, LAZ. We support all of those files. You're also able to then import any sort of BIM files, so whether that's an IFC file or DWG, you're able to bring those in and interact between the point cloud and the 3D model. And you're also allowed to bring in images, so whether those are JPEGs or 360-degree panorama images, you're able to bring those into the software as well. Mostly this is going to be used for design validation. So we do have the capability with Trimble Cloud Engine. So you're able to see deviations between the 3D model and the point cloud. So creating those heat maps, understanding your tolerances and where things differ between the model and the point cloud, the existing conditions, is a great way to check on the status of the project. You then can get a report that can be generated inside of Excel, and since a lot of people enjoy using Excel and can use Excel to share and generate different sort of point cloud data and table data to share with their teams, we do give that option to generate a report in Excel, and then basically export that point cloud and deviation results right into the BIM and CAD platform for redesign or for continuing to design. You're also able to do a floor surface analysis in this software as well. You can understand your cut and fills, your low areas. You can also generate a report of your contours into Excel and again, export that out directly into a CAD platform. Clash detection, so you're able to run a clash detection. So a lot of stakeholders are going to be on your VDC teams, so their job is to manage the risk on the project, and for clash detection, that's a big deal for them. So being able to see the clash detection early and understand the problem areas and document them quickly is huge. And again, generating a report in Excel and sending that out to the engineers and architects and other stakeholders in the project is key. Finally, your sharing tools. So you're able to create a web-ready document that enables sharing and further communication. So if someone wants to add a 360 panorama photo like you see in the photo to the right, or they want to add an annotation, maybe a JPEG they've taken on their phone, any sort of project update photos, they're able to do that here, publish it publicly, and share it with everyone. That way there's better collaboration using your point clouds. So next we have Trimble Scan Essentials for SketchUp. This is for people who want to take their 3D captured data and bring it into a familiar 3D modeling software like SketchUp and begin to model based on that data accurately. So this is just a regular SketchUp extension, so it can be found in the extension warehouse, and this is what the sort of drop page looks like when you search Trimble Scan Essentials for SketchUp. We do offer a free 30-day trial that anyone can download and just test out and use their point clouds to model more accurately. So what I mean by that is that when you click on that point cloud tool, you're able to then click directly on any surface and it will analyze those points and realize that you're drawing on that surface. And instead of just drawing in open space, it connects and immediately attaches to that scan data. So it can create really accurate 3D models, which I can show you here. So if you've seen our launch video, then you're pretty familiar with this model, but this is a 3D model that I made of Union Station down in Denver, Colorado. This is a pretty complex building, and when I went and 3D scanned it, you can see my scan data around here. I was able to use that to accurately model this building. Otherwise, I mean, I would have nowhere to even start. And what's unique here is that you're able to also overlay an inspection tool, so I can see how well I modeled compared to my point cloud. So there you can see the green means I modeled it correctly on top of my point cloud, and red means that there's a that is outside of tolerance. So in this case, 200 millimeters. But again, not all buildings are straight, but everything in SketchUp is, so it can be a little deceiving. But being able to just import your point cloud directly into SketchUp, software that you're familiar with, and begin modeling accurately is going to be a huge benefit for people who use 3D laser scanners to do existing projects, renovations, additions, etc. So here's one more project that we've been working on. So this was a training I did for some students up at the Colorado State University Trimble Tech Lab there. So this is some horse stables that they're going to be repurposing into graduate student offices. So again, I was able to bring in that 3D point cloud, begin modeling directly onto it, and keep my existing point cloud around it just so I have a better understanding of the environment surrounding this building. But if I go ahead and hide this, I can show you how the tool works. So this is the toolbar up here. Couple different options. This is to open up a point cloud. This is to open up that point cloud manager, which houses a whole bunch of stuff. So you can change your point size, you can change the opacity, you can change the colors, shading, the views, and then if you segment it down in RealWorks, then you're able to sort of eliminate outstanding objects in your point cloud that you don't need. You can change your section box thickness. You can change your inspection map again once you've modeled on top of it. So a couple different things in that menu. We have a few preset opacities here. So 75%, 50%, and 0 are completely off. Some conditional blending tools for when you've started modeling on top of the point cloud. Some snapping options. So whether you want to snap directly to a SketchUp entity, snap directly to a point cloud, or disable point cloud snapping. And then your construction points and construction guidelines just to help you model a little bit easier. So if I go ahead and click on pick up my SketchUp entities first, click on my rectangle tool, I can come directly onto this wall, draw my rectangle, and will snap directly to the point cloud. And then I can use other tools and use the point cloud to automatically snap my SketchUp entities there as well. So if I use my push-pull tool, I can push this wall out, use it to snap onto this back wall, use it to snap onto this front wall here, and to this back wall. I can bring it down to the ground and bring it up here. And now you can see I'm already pretty far along in my modeling process. So it also allows me to trace on top of the point cloud. So if I choose to go and pick my SketchUp entities first, I can quickly outline this window and offset it. And now you can see I'm already far along in my modeling process. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. Turn on my point cloud to give you a little better understanding of what's going on. I modeled this surrounding building as well, just to give me a better idea. So it's a really powerful tool. allows you to take your point cloud data to the next level and begin to model on it using a very easy to use 3D modeling software, and then export that out directly to use, whether that's in the XR10 or Sight Vision or maybe in your other CAD or BIM platforms, and begin to use accurately modeled 3D data. So jumping back into the slides, here's a couple of the other examples that we've had. So modeling a church or a bridge, or even importing 5 miles worth of highway using photogrammetry technology. So when they did drone flyovers and exported that out as photogrammetry LAS and LAZ files, they're able to bring that into SketchUp, and it took it like a champ. I mean, able to bring in 5 miles worth of highway and data is really, really impressive. So now that we're getting towards the end of the presentation, I wanted to kind of bring up the value of 3D capture and how it's important for our customers. And it's, again, bringing that accuracy, bringing the speed and the range that, enables people to collect data and to be able to use that data to share, to collaborate, to model, to understand and prefabricate, and to double check and verify all the things that they need to do on a project. So ranging from concrete to framing to finished product to renovations to additions to existing conditions, etc. So making that technology simpler for our customer base to use and to understand is really going to bring them value in everything that they do and understanding their projects further. So that wraps up this presentation on Intro to 3D Capture. I hope you all learned a little bit more about sort of what we do. Also, if you have any other questions, you can also reach out to Anaid. She is our regional sales manager for Mexico, Central America, and Latin America. So if you have any questions, need any demos, or have any sales inquiries, you can reach out to Anaid. I have her email address and her phone number up on the screen. But other than that, I'd like to open it up now for questions.
Okay, the first question is Omar says the extension of the software between PC and tablet is the same and saves all the changes, or what are the different abilities on a tablet? I think what this guy is trying to say is that what you do in the PC or the desktop version is the same as in the mobile version.
Yeah, so for Field Link, you can have your tablet inside the field, basically, when you're outside doing your work. And then we have another software that you can use. It's actually the same software, but it's the Office version of that for when you're back in the office. So there's not much of a difference, but in the Office version, we allow you to do things that you can't do on the tablet. So, for example, you're able to move the model, you're able to import multiple models. You can kind of use it a little more easily, in my opinion, because you're able to use your mouse and keyboard, because sometimes doing everything on a tablet isn't as efficient as we'd like it to be. But if you're doing large jobs, like if you need to do a lot of typing, you need to do a lot of clicking, we advise you to use your PC. It also can cut down on your render times. So when you put a lot of stress on the tablet, it is just a tablet. We're not saying it's a supercomputer. It's a really, really nice tablet, and it's rugged, and it does a lot of the hard work out in the field. But once it comes time to processing data, like maybe colorizing a point cloud or maybe exporting out a 3D model, switching it over to a desktop to do that, because your desktop is a lot more powerful, makes the render times a lot faster and a little more convenient too. So yes, you can transfer it freely, very easily between PC and tablet to PC, and that's one of the great things about FieldLink.
Right. Thank you very much. Somehow there are not so many questions at the moment. I don't know if they didn't make sure to send them through the Q&A panel. But okay, let's continue with this because I have questions. Even if you guys were a
Sure.
little bit shy, I would like to ask you about the point cloud integration with other BIM software. For example, many people in Europe use ArchiCAD to integrate point cloud and then model everything from scratch using the point cloud data. So How is Trimble
Mhm.
connecting with software such as ArchiCAD or even from Bentley, Allplan, or any other BIM software out there?
Right. So with our software, we still allow you to export in general formats. So we don't necessarily say you have to export under our file format. We let you export as an E57, both gridded and non-gridded, as well as LAS and LAZ, and even as a recap file for Autodesk. We realize a lot of people like to use Revit when they work off of their point clouds. So a lot of those other formats take those universal file types. So we export those as well. We're not just exclusive to our TDX or TZF file type. So that's how we kind of share within other systems our point clouds. But inside of SketchUp, we also accept RealWorks files since we are Trimble RealWorks. And we do take our own file format for TDX as well. So
Yeah.
that's
And
about
what
it.
about the
Does that
interoperability
answer your
with
question?
other? Yeah, yes, for sure. And what I was saying is that what about the interoperability with, for example, other equipment from other brands such as Leica or Faro? I mean, do you integrate with those equipment as well?
Not a lot, just because we focus mostly on our TX series and our X7 3D laser scanners. Um, but RealWorks still accepts, so RealWorks and Scan Essentials will accept, again, those universal file formats that come from those other company scanners. So we do work with those companies in that sense, but outside of that, we don't do any sort of hardware exchange with those other companies at all.
Right, right. And how do you think this is valuable for business owners, for example? Because you know sometimes they are the ones that are make the decision and how to convey the message of all the benefits 3D capture has if they don't know technical, jargon or anything like that. I mean, they need to see the return of investment, numbers, financials, and how this is related to the business core value. So, how do you convey the message to those business owners?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, when you used to tell people 3D scanning or 3D capture a couple years ago, I feel like a lot of people were very scared of that because they're like, well, 3D capture, 3D laser scanning, that sounds super difficult, super hard. Like I don't want to invest the time or the money. I don't want to have a guy on my payroll who I have to pay, 100,000 a year to go out and spend, 12 hours a day scanning full time. That just doesn't make sense for me as a business owner. But what we've done now is with the X7 especially is we've taken the guesswork out of it. We've taken out the hard trainings that you have to do, the daily stuff where you have to go and do manual setups and you have to go back to the office and register it on our computers and all that all the difficult things that used to be hard to train and for people to understand before with 3D scanning. We've really simplified it with the X7 and with FieldLink. So now within a couple seconds, I can take out the X7, strap it onto a tripod, have it auto level, auto calibrate, and start scanning within 30 seconds of me booting it up. So we've really taken the guesswork out with auto registration and auto alignment and everything like that. So, I mean, we've trained people in less than an hour of being able to say, okay, here's your scan data, here's how you're going to export it, here's how it's going to look inside of your computer, and here's the kind of data that you can get from it. And within half hour, 30, 35 minutes or so, they're out there scanning themselves. And all it is just being able to put in the time to go around and capture what you want in the accuracy and the depth that you want, and knowing how to take that data and make something out of it. So whether that's 3D modeling or doing measurements or maybe taking into Cloud Engine and making it a shareable document, like a shareable point cloud on a web interface. There's a lot of different options there. And with the entire Trimble suite, we try and make it as easy as possible. So you buy our hardware, the X7, you have our tablet and our Field Link that comes with it. So you don't have to go buy, your own iPad, or you don't have to go out and get another computer or anything like that. It's all included in one package. And then if you want to model directly on your point clouds, we have SketchUp and we have Scan Essentials. If you want to interpret mechanical data and do auto recognition of steel and stuff like that, we've got RealWorks. So we have so many different options inside of the entire Trimble ecosystem that really helps you solve any problem that you may have in the field. And I guess that's definitely one of the selling points for why business owners are trying to take on more 3D capture today than maybe a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah, great. Thank you. So now you know that there's a trend now which is called a digital twin. It is a kind of a brand new concept that many companies has brought up to the table because they are now interested in seeing how they are going to monitor all the operation and maintenance phase using IoT, sensors and all of the data they can extract from a building. That now they are turning buildings into live elements, where they can extract and go back and forth with the information and see, for example, if a bridge is kind of shaken because of an earthquake, they can extract all the data, and if they have a digital twin, they know what is happening with that with the built environment. So going beyond 3D laser scanning, how is Trimble dealing with the digital twin concept?
Yeah, I mean, beyond just 3D scanning, we have other elements like we're trying to incorporate the XR10, which is our HoloLens 2 on top of a hard hat. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not, but that's what I'm actually wearing in that photo that I sent you. And we're trying to create literally a virtual environment wherever you are. So you can take the job site wherever you go, basically. So let's say, for example, you wanted to take a building that is under construction right now, and let's say I'm in my office and you're out in the field. If we both have on an XR10, we can literally you can literally walk me through virtually the entire job site as if it was a finished product. So while we're walking around, you can point things out and I can look at it through my eyes and say, oh my gosh, it's like I'm on the job site. I can see exactly what you're talking about. Maybe if we have some problems, or maybe if we need to change something out, I'm able to see that in real time. And when I'm at home, or when we're in an office or on a conference room or whatever, I can blow up that model. So I can have a virtual model in front of me in augmented reality, and I can show you that exactly. So if we wanted to run any sort of tests, whether that's, is this building going to be able to fit within this space? Is this building going to meet our height requirements? Maybe we have a ceiling requirement, et cetera, et cetera. You literally have a miniature physical model in front of you that you're able to see and share with people in real time. So moving into the virtual reality and AR space is really what Trimble is going to strive for in the next few years, and where we're already at now with our exclusive partnership with Microsoft. So I'd say that's definitely one way that we're going to try and stretch into having a digital twin, or the ability to kind of get into that space.
Yeah, and the reason I ask that is because everything starts from a 3D laser scan. I mean, when you finish the building, you need to do a scanning to see exactly how it is, to get an as-built model that you can then turn into a digital twin. So this is why I wanted to know how Trimble was envisioning this next step, which is actually a trend in the industry. So yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, glad to hear that Trimble is one step ahead in this innovation and in the trends of the construction industry. So Kyle, I think that's it for now. We really appreciate your time and your participation. We hope to have you here more regularly. I know that language is kind of a huge thing to get over and to take on. I'm sorry, but yeah, we're gonna do the best to find the best way to do simultaneous translation or subtitling, where people can stay tuned and understand what the message is when we bring up English speakers guests. So one more time, Kyle,
absolutely.
I appreciate your time. Yeah. So, okay. So see you next time. Thanks for your time.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
aprovechando el espacio, recordarles que la división que patrocina hoy el evento es AEC Technology, la cual se enfoca en la digitalización de la realidad con los servicios de escaneo láser 3D, realidad mixta y realidad aumentada. Si quieren saber más información, tenemos un banner en la parte inferior de la página web donde están viendo esa transmisión en vivo, la cual les invitamos a que accedan, conozcan los servicios y se pongan en contacto con nosotros para ver de qué manera les podemos ayudar a aumentar la rentabilidad de sus negocios. Muchas gracias a todos y les esperamos nuevamente el próximo jueves, en Jueves de la Tecnología e Innovación para la Construcción. Muchas gracias a todos.